Hey class, in this video we're going to talk about what we're working on this week, and I'll do a short lecture on browser games. This week we are mostly going to be doing playtesting, so there'll be a demo on publishing your Bitsy game, which is pretty easy and similar to what we did with our Twine projects. And so just like we did with our Twine playtesting, what we want to do is publish the game. So we've been working on it for a couple weeks, should be ready to publish it now, and then do playtesting throughout the rest of the week. And then a similar process where you're going to write a blog post with a summary of your user feedback. So hopefully that process will feel familiar since we've just done that with Twine. But we only have a week this time. Last time we had 2 weeks because we had an extra, we had a holiday in the middle. So we'll have to do it a little bit faster this time. So let's get into our lecture on browser games. And in the next video, I'll go over publishing the game and adding it to our itch page. All right, so I'm going to go over to the browser games tab. And so this is just a little bit of a history of games in the browser or on the web. And since we're mostly publishing, or I think only publishing browser-based games this semester, I think it's good to talk about this history. And it has a little bit of a soft spot for me because this is where I kind of started my career. I was working for a company and then freelancing, making Flash games. And so we'll look at that a little bit. So yeah, just a little bit of history. Browser games are games that can be played online. And often they are free to play and built on web technologies. So in 1996, that's when Macromedia Flash was introduced as a plug-in for web browsers. And this supported vector-based animation and scripting and programming with the language ActionScript. And this led to lots of both individual hobbyist creators as well as companies and studios creating Flash games to post on websites, and kind of created like this whole new style and genre of games. Some games that were kind of like casual style games that might be on your email homepage or something like that you would play for a couple minutes while you were just killing time, and then other games that were more involved. One of the first websites to host this style of games was this website called Newgrounds. This is very similar to itch.io actually, and Newgrounds still exists. They still publish games. There's lots of indie games on here. It's still a good platform for web-based games. And it was sort of the first like real big influential website that did this kind of style of self-publishing that's popular with itch and other platforms now. This is originally created by Tom Fulp, and he was interested in hosting his own games, and so he made this platform where other people could host their games as well. And one of the most popular early browser games is a game called Club a Seal. This is a satirical game. It's it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. And it was a tiny game. You can see it says requires flash only 46K, so that's 46 kilobytes. So part of what they were advertising is that the game's download size was really small. At the time when this was published, it took a long time to download things from the internet. So if you had a lot of assets or files in your game, it would take a really long time to download, and it might not be playable. It's also interesting because you can see that you can have a satirical sort of one person's point of view on a game that you probably wouldn't get from a big studio or arcade games from past platforms. Another popular game by Tom Fulp was Alien Hominid. This game is actually, you can download this and play it on I think like modern platforms like a Nintendo Switch and stuff like that. It's actually a really fun sort of 2D platformer and shooter style game. And then Meat Boy was another popular game, which you may have heard of, that turned into Super Meat Boy, which is a pretty successful indie game. This game had really like interesting physics. You can still play it here. You can see I have this plugin called Ruffle that will play old Flash games. So yeah, if you want to play old Flash games, I would recommend checking that out. I clicked on an ad by mistake. I'm gonna mute this just so I can keep talking. So yeah, this was another popular game at the time. It was really interesting physics, and it also has this sort of like goofy premise where you're kind of like this spraying blood everywhere, kind of free. Makes sense more on an indie website than maybe some other websites. Although, you know, lots of AAA games have different themes in them. But you can see this has sort of like goofy 2D physics. This one is actually challenging. It gets there, you know, as you advance through the levels, it gets pretty hard. So that might be a fun one to check out. Anyway, let's continue. So another popular game around this time that's sort of like in a different category is Bejeweled. That's another game that you might be familiar with just because it spawns so many imitation games. You probably see people playing app versions of this game on their phone, like on the way home on the subway and stuff like that. This is a casual style game, so it's really kind of repetitive, a little bit mindless, and it's a way to kill time when you're you know, waiting on a train or something like that. Other sort of like more interesting indie games at the time, there's a developer called Mala Industria, an Italian developer, who were using the same platforms to make games that were more political statements. So he made a game called McDonald's, the video game, which sort of puts you in the position of running a McDonald's from a corporate point of view, and is sort of trying to expose some of the sort of unethical practices that happen in that setting, and kind of putting you in that perspective of making those choices. So another way that, you know, browser games are similar to indie games is that you can have one developer who can make a specific sort of political statement or philosophical statement through the gameplay. So in 2007, the iPhone came out, and they announced that they were not going to have support for Flash in their browser. And this led to Flash, you know, kind of continued for a while after that, but it led to a lot of panic. And, you know, game studios like the one that I first started working for in 2007, you know, started to make other plans for how they were going to release their games. Flash was, you know, still being used, especially by a lot of animation studios. It eventually turned into Adobe Animate, which still exists, but ironically, just you know, like a month ago, Adobe announced that they were going to stop supporting Animate, and then everybody got really upset, and they kind of walked it back. But you can see there's this kind of, you know, cycle of these technologies and companies trying to you know, close the technologies, but then they kind of exist beyond that anyway. So people still use, you know, Flash. You can see I have that Ruffle plugin, but fortunately, after that, not soon after that, but in 2014, HTML5 was released. And HTML5 had support for a rendering canvas, which is what is being used in most indie browser-based games, or any browser-based game today. So when we are publishing stuff with Bitsy and with the game engines we'll use in our future projects, it's using the HTML5 canvas to render graphics. And so in some ways that's you know, good because it uses native web technologies, specifically JavaScript. The performance at first was not as good, but it's gotten much better over the last 10 years. So now we can have some really sophisticated games that are running in HTML5 canvas. So throughout the 2010s, people started using HTML5 to create web-based games. There's a number of examples here. You know, I'll just look at one of them as an example, but I recommend going and checking out some of these games. Not all of these are actually canvas based. Like Candy Box is just a text-based game. I think the rest of these are probably canvas based, but one that I want to point out is this newer style of game. So agar.io or Agario, however you want to call it, is a let's get through this ad. Oh, this is a long ad. Okay. I guess you got to keep the servers running, so I'll just talk over this ad. But basically, this was like a new style of game that used networking to create like massive multiplayer games, maybe not massive, but large multiplayer games in the browser. And so this spawned like a whole new genre of games using really simple vector graphics with the HTML5 canvas and sort of really basic gameplay mechanics, but you were playing against other people. So it had this level of competition that we were usually only able to get through, large MMOs like Warcraft or games like that. So there's a lot of browser-based games now that use this kind of style and this kind of mechanic, and they all kind of stem from this original sort of concept. And you can see the basic idea here is I get to eat these little dots, and the more dots I eat, the larger I grow. And other players, if they're bigger than me, they can eat me, but I'm faster because I'm smaller. So very, very basic, simple balance of game mechanics, but it's pretty fun. And there's a lot of really more advanced, more complex versions of this, but this was sort of the first style of networked browser-based game using the HTML5 canvas. Okay, so there's a bunch of other examples there that I recommend you check out on your own. And so through the 2010s, a lot of new indie game sites appeared, taking advantage of the HTML5 canvas, but also taking advantage of new platforms like Unity and Godot, new game engines that were making it a lot easier for indie developers and hobbyists and whoever wants to create video games. And so we're using itch.io, obviously. It has a lot of nice features like creating the game jam and searching for other games and stuff like that. And so if you click here, you'll see these are the top HTML5 based games. So these are all games that you can play in the browser. Some of them also have like, a download for Windows or Linux or Mac or other platforms, Android, but all of them have a version that you can play in the browser. And so we're kind of like building on the existence of those communities and technologies to take advantage of these platforms and the ability to publish and share things very easily. So that makes it a lot easier for us to learn some of the basics and also do user testing and share our games with each other and other people if we want to. So that's it for this. In the next video, I'm just going to go over publishing your Bitsy game on itch.io. Very similar process to what we did with Twine. So it'll be pretty straightforward. All right, so I'll see you guys in that video.